Welcome to War Bios, where we delve into the complexities of conflict and the human experience. This brutal conflict ravaged New England in the late 17th century, pitting the English colonists against the indigenous Wampanoag tribe, led by the enigmatic Metacomet, also known as King Philip. The English have established a foothold in Plymouth, Massachusetts, and are expanding their settlements into the surrounding areas. The Wampanoag, who had inhabited this land for centuries, are facing increasing pressure on their territory, resources, and way of life. One of the key figures in the early history of King Philip's War was Massasoit, a wise and pragmatic Wampanoag leader who formed an alliance with the English. In 1621, Massasoit negotiated a peace treaty with the Pilgrims, which allowed for the establishment of the Plymouth colony. This alliance held for many years, with the Wampanoag providing crucial support to the English during their early struggles. However, as more English colonists arrived, tensions began to rise. The English saw the Native Americans as inferior and sought to convert them to Christianity, while the Wampanoag resisted English encroachment on their land. By the 1660s, Massasoit had grown increasingly wary of English intentions, and his relationship with the colonists began to fray. In 1662, Massasoit died, and his son Metacomet, also known as King Philip, succeeded him as leader of the Wampanoag. Metacomet was a skilled diplomat and warrior who sought to maintain the fragile peace between the English and the Wampanoag. However, he faced significant challenges. The English were expanding their settlements at an alarming rate, and the Wampanoag were struggling to adapt to the changing landscape. In 1671, Metacomet was forced to sign a treaty with the English, which limited Wampanoag sovereignty and allowed for further English settlement. This treaty marked a significant turning point in the relationship between the English and the Wampanoag, as it effectively stripped the tribe of its autonomy and paved the way for future conflict. The tensions simmered for several years, with both sides engaging in a series of skirmishes and diplomatic maneuvers. On June 20, 1675, a group of Wampanoag warriors killed several English colonists in the town of Swansea, Massachusetts, in retaliation for the execution of 3 Wampanoag men accused of murder. This incident marked the beginning of King Philip's War, a conflict that would spread across New England and draw in multiple tribes, colonies, and interests. The summer of 1675 marked a turning point in the conflict, as the Wampanoag, led by Metacomet, also known as King Philip, launched a series of daring raids against English settlements. The English, taken aback by the ferocity of the attacks, struggled to respond effectively. One notable example of the Wampanoag's cunning tactics was the raid on the town of Brookfield, Massachusetts, where they employed a clever diversion to draw the English militia away from the main attack. As the war raged on, both sides suffered heavy losses. The English, with their superior firepower and organization, began to gain the upper hand, but the Wampanoag's knowledge of the terrain and their guerrilla warfare tactics allowed them to inflict significant damage on the enemy. The conflict soon spread beyond Massachusetts, drawing in other Native American tribes, such as the Nipmuc and the Narragansett, as well as other English colonies. One of the most significant leaders to emerge during this period was Captain Benjamin Church, a seasoned English soldier who would play a crucial role in the war's outcome. Church, known for his unconventional tactics and his ability to adapt to the Native American way of warfare, led a company of English soldiers and Native American allies on a series of daring raids against the Wampanoag. The war also saw the rise of other notable figures, such as Anne Awashonks, a Sakonnet leader who allied herself with the English, and Canonchet, a Narragansett Sachem who fought bravely alongside King Philip. These individuals, along with many others, helped shape the course of the conflict, which was marked by shifting alliances, unexpected victories, and heartbreaking tragedies. As Captain Benjamin Church once said, "The war was not just about winning or losing, but about understanding the enemy and adapting to their way of warfare." This quote encapsulates the essence of the conflict, which was characterized by a deep cultural divide between the English and the Native Americans. The English saw the Native Americans as savages, while the Native Americans viewed the English as encroachers on their land. The war's impact on the Native American population was devastating. Many were forced to flee their homes, and those who remained were often subjected to harsh treatment by the English. The conflict also had a profound effect on the English colonies, which suffered significant economic losses and a deepening sense of insecurity. The English are gaining momentum, but the Wampanoag and their allies remain determined to resist. The outcome is far from certain, and the fate of New England hangs in the balance. The decline of King Philip's War began in the winter of 1675–76 as the English, led by Captain Benjamin Church, launched a series of targeted campaigns against the Wampanoag and their allies. The harsh winter conditions, combined with the English blockade of Native American food supplies, took a devastating toll on the Native American population. Many were forced to flee their homes, seeking refuge in the frozen wilderness or surrendering to the English. One notable example of the English tactics during this period was the raid on the Wampanoag village at Monto, near present-day Fall River, Massachusetts. On February 26, 1676, Captain Church and his men launched a surprise attack on the village, killing or capturing many of its inhabitants. This raid marked a significant turning point in the war, as it dealt a crushing blow to the Wampanoags' ability to resist English rule. As the war drew to a close, King Philip himself became increasingly isolated, forced to flee from one hiding place to another to avoid capture by the English. On August 12, 1676, he was finally tracked down and killed by a group of English soldiers and their Native American allies in a swamp near Mount Hope, Rhode Island. The news of his death sent shockwaves throughout the Native American communities, marking the end of an era and the beginning of a new period of English dominance. The aftermath of King Philip's War was devastating for the Native American population. Many were forced to surrender, facing imprisonment, enslavement, or forced relocation to distant reservations. The war also had a profound impact on the English colonies, which suffered significant economic losses and a deepening sense of insecurity. The conflict marked a turning point in the relationship between the English and Native Americans, as it led to increased tensions, violence, and marginalization of indigenous peoples. In the years that followed, many Native American communities struggled to rebuild and recover from the devastating effects of the war. Some, like Anawashonks, the Sacanet leader who had allied herself with the English, worked tirelessly to promote peace and understanding between their people and the English. Others, however, continued to resist English rule, using guerrilla warfare tactics and other forms of resistance to fight for their land and way of life. Today, King Philip's War is remembered as a pivotal moment in American history, marking the beginning of a long and complex process of colonization, displacement, and marginalization of indigenous peoples. The war serves as a powerful reminder of the need for reconciliation, healing, and understanding between different cultures and communities. That's all for today's War Bios. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, I'm General Biography reminding you to keep marching toward victory.